Hey everybody, you ever get in your Audi and you just you're missing a steering wheel? Well, that's not the video for you, because today we're taking this ignition lock out with this key. Now, I've seen all kind of crazy stuff on the internet talking about you gotta drill a hole under here and do this fancy stuff and this fancy stuff, and none of that's right. But in this video, I'm gonna show you how to do this yourself, and you really don't even have to do anything. Now, you do have to take the cover off, and I actually show you how to do that in the video to get the blinker switch out here and the washer switch. So I'm gonna link that above right now so you can watch the beginning of that video just to get these two pieces of plastic off, because you do have to get under here for something. Now, all right, so I took these plastics off already for another job, and I didn't feel like putting them back on, but I'm gonna kind of show you for this job what you have to do. This is kind of a mock-up to get started. So right underneath here, there's gonna be two holes, and there's gonna be two Phillips screws straight up in that pinch these two pieces together. And then there's two right here that lock the bottom piece on. So if you do the bottom two first, you can finagle this piece of plastic out here, you know, the top, and maybe give it a nice little clean or whatever before you put it back in. And then you'll have this, and then you do these two pieces here, these two screws here, and they're a little bit longer, and then this whole piece will come off on the bottom. Now, one thing that I found is that if you have the adjustable steering wheel here, it's a little hard to get through this little slot and pull it out without breaking this, but just kind of take your time and you will be able to finagle it out. It probably took me a good 2 minutes of going really slow and just kind of bending it down and sliding it and trying to open it with my thumbs a little bit like this, because I didn't want to break this piece. You know, if this is your Audi, you have to put this piece back on. So once you get everything off, then you're ready to go. You can see the ignition switch over here, and you can get to that cable on the bottom to get this lock out as well. Now let's get some work done. There's a cable that connects under here to this mechanism, which is your ignition. So the ignition switch has this pink purple side, connects in, and where the key goes, that's called the cylinder lock. Well, today we're getting the cylinder lock out because either it's not working, something's wrong with it, or you just want to change the lock. So you're gonna have to have the key. You put the key in, and then you're gonna turn it to what's called position B. So there's the click, which is accessory, and then there's another click, and then there's push down to start, and it'll push back when you let go. Now, when you do this first click, there's a cable right underneath. When you get that click open, you're gonna be able to yank that cable out, and a little tooth is gonna come out, and that's what's holding the lock in position. After you pull that cable out, you're gonna get a bobby pin or something small, and there's a wee little hole in the face of the ignition where you put your key in. You're gonna stick the bobby pin in there, turn the key a little bit, and pull the whole lock out. Now, I'm gonna bring you forward here with the camera so you can see what I'm actually talking about, because I know you're not a mind reader, and I just kind of explained it to you, but now I wanna show you. Now, the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna put your key in. You're gonna click it right there to click, just like it's an accessory. Then there's a little cable down here. Let me see if I can get a good, there it is. So I already pulled mine out, but your cable will be attached like that. And all you have to do is kind of wiggle this and pull. And then this locking mechanism, this cable will come out. Now that went right here where my finger is. And then once you get this locking mechanism out, let's put this back so you can see. Now you see the little hole right here? Let me get a close-up for you. See the little hole there in the corner? Not the keyhole, the square or the rectangle, the wee little hole right there. That is where you put the bobby pin in after you have the key in, then we're gonna set the key to a certain position, stick the bobby pin in the little hole behind right there, and pull the ignition out so we can unlock it. All right, so now we're on the other side. We got everything ready, and you have to put your key in the turn on position, but you're not gonna like push it down to where it actually engages the starter. You're gonna do just the 2 clicks to where its ignition is on. If you do push it all the way down and it clicks back, you can't push it down again, so you'll be in that position anyway. Once you get to that position, there's that little keyhole. You're gonna stick something like a bobby pin in there. And then you're just gonna kind of push it in and mess with it, pull on it. And then you're gonna pull the lock straight out like that. The lock will come out with the key, and the bobby pin might get stuck. And then you can pull the key out to do whatever you want. This lock actually works, so we're gonna be keeping it. But when you buy a new ignition, it should come with 1 ignition, 1 door lock, 1 key, maybe 2 keys, and then you just put it back in the same way. You're going to go ahead and depress the piece down. You're gonna put the key in the position you think it's supposed to be in, push the little piece down, and then jimmy it in place, then pull this out, turn the key back, pull it out, and your lock will be stuck in place there again. So that's how you reinstall. But you don't have to take your steering wheel off. We just did that anyway, but this is how you change the lock. And then I have another video on how to change the door lock, and I'll put that over here in the corner as well. So let's kind of go ahead and look at the lock. So you see the lock, and then you see the wee little hole right there. If I can get it to focus, see the wee little cutout of the metal right boop, there. That's where you stick the little thing in. And you have to have your key locked in and that thing in. You have to be pushing in with one hand and pulling out with the other. Now what this does is, you see this piece right here? That will actuate this piece to go in and out so that this will push down. You see how it's up right now? It's up right now because we're not depressing it. So if we depress it on this side, it'll push this side up and push this side teeter-totter down, and then you can pull the lock out. And then that other piece was locked on here as well. You couldn't get that out until you take that cable out. So hook us up, like, thumbs up, subscribe, notifications all. This is about 35 videos now for Audi, so I hope we're doing some Audi fans justice. If you want to make sure that you're working on your Audi correctly, hit us up with a subscribe. Ask us any questions that you want down in the comment block. I love talking to people, so if you have a problem getting yours out, please hit me up, ask me any questions, and one of us will get back to you as soon as possible. Okay, now that we got the lock out, I might as well just get the ignition switch out as well, so you can do both things. Since that was such a small video, I'm going to add this. So the ignition lock is on this side, the ignition switch is on this side. Now this little red thing right here, if you scrape that off, there's some paint, that's paint, and there's a screw under there, which is a flathead. So you have to get one of these like special computer flathead, really small screwdrivers. It doesn't have to be this big, it could be a real small one. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna scratch that paint off like I did right here. And then you're gonna go in here and back this little screw out, which is just a plug screw. And it's really, really small. So we'll take a look at it when I get it out. But I'm gonna zoom in real close so you guys can see what I'm doing when I knock the paint off the top one and take that out, so you know how to do it yourself. All right, so we're just gonna kind of pick that. Oh, the whole thing fell out in one little, whole little glue head, paint head fell off in one little thing. And then you're just gonna stick you can see the little slot, you're gonna stick your screwdriver in there. Maybe clean up the hole a little bit, it's still a little crusty.